What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the local meta report. I am Brad, aka the mayor of Lorcana, bringing to you 5 new set championship winners from the final weekend of the Reign of Jafar set championships. We are quickly approaching the fabled era. Set 9, everything's changing. They're bringing back a bunch of old cards and some new ones as we approach this new set. Really excited. We are closing this set out with 5 winners from 5 stores here in the greater St. Louis area, and here are those winning decks. All right, our first deck comes to you by the way of Wild Growth Games in Highland, Illinois. It is their first set championship. It is run by friends of the podcast and great community members from the very beginning of Disney Lorcana here in St. Louis. Elizabeth and John opened up their own stores. We got to check it out for the first time. It was very cool, and highly encourage anybody in the area to go check that out. It was an amazing experience, and I'm very happy for them, but not here to gloat about that entirely, because this video is about the winner of that set championship, and it goes to Lili. Lili, I believe this is her first set championship. I was sad that I couldn't stick around to watch her win it, even at the cost of it being my teammate Kirsten here at Rules of Villainy, her demise. Lili got it done with a Amber Steel aggro control deck, and it is, if you've been watching this video series or just keeping up with Disney Lorcana during this set championship era, it will be of no surprise. This deck should probably be very familiar to you. In fact, you're going to see a couple more of them here, spoiler alerts, in the rest of the video, but this is the most exciting to me because the younger generation of Disney Lorcana got it done again. If you look at the deck here, it's everything that you expect to see, with the standard turn one either being Daisy or Cindy, depending on where you're at, and if you need to be on the control end, with Cindy singing the Let the Storm Rage On or Strength of a Raging Fire. Daisy, of course, questing for 2. Hamster, if you got the shift line, is a great turn 2 with the shift there, because he is very hard to deal with in the early stages of the game. Mulan for a little bit of hand filtering. Lilo, who can be played from the discard. And then, of course, everything that we know and love, or don't love, based on which side of the table you're sitting on, with Penny and Piglet and Doc and Smee, the lady, a former villain of the week, who just brings out any of those characters before her for free as she comes out to the board. It's followed up by Lawrence with a big body. No Rapunzel, so she's not getting draw from that, but she is running the Pete to stop the actions for wide boards. She has Vinny, who is a very fun card that's been popping up in these decks the last few weeks, where whenever another card gets banished on your turn, or on their turn, or at all, while he's on the board, I should say, you gain 1 lore. And then, of course, topping off with the hamster shift there, the power hamster rhino. Lili got it done in a field of, I think, 13 or 14 people on the day, and so very excited for her. I think this is her first actual win. I might be wrong. Nick can correct me. And speaking of, her father and her have been doing a great new series here on YouTube. I'm going to link in the description below. They've been going to different stores, going to the parks, the Disney parks, opening up packs, and just completing their collections. I actually traded them a foil Prince John Frady Cat at the end of this tournament before I took off for the day. So check out that. Congratulations to Lili. I know this isn't the last time we're going to see you on here. All right, moving on to our second deck of the day from Yeti Games in St. Louis proper. We had Chip P taking it down with a deck that he called Gotta Go Fast. And if you look at this deck right now, you see that it is a fast deck. It starts off with the Merfolk, the Pegasus that's evasive. You really can't do anything about it unless you're running Fire the Cannons or maybe a Befuddle or something. But the Diablo also is just sitting out there until they want to give you a card to banish it. The Flynn Rider comes out and sits there, quests for 2 until you want to challenge it and discard a card. Of course, that same effect with the Merfolk, just questing until you want to discard something, unless you can get rid of it another way besides challenging. He's got the whole bounce package in here with the snakes, the foxes, the crabs, Rush with Peter Pan. Cloud Kicker comes out on 3 and kicks something back to your hand, as well as Genie coming out to draw a card, and of course the Goat, which I forgot to mention in the Merlin Mim package, Elsa to exert something, Cricky to come out, quest for 3, buff up his characters if they need to challenge into something, and of course friends on the other side, and the levers. Pull the lever for drawing and discarding opponent discards, or wrong lever. That combination has been clutch throughout this entire set. I love the inclusion and the synergy between those 2 cards. He said, if you notice, as I went through this card, the one card I didn't mention was Go-Go Tamago. the real MVP of the deck, and a card that I've been stressing about the last week or two because I forgot about her in my set championships last set or last weekend rather, where she came out and somebody got 4 lore off of my Iago from it. And like, why do I never think about Gogo? And Gogo was the MVP for Chip on Saturday at Yeti, because she was just bounced and coming out over and over again, getting 4 to 5 lore to close out games. She is, I think, the first villain of the week of the set she came out in here at Rules of Villainy, and then she kind of took a break for a while, and now she's popping back up again and getting the job done. Very, very underrated card, and happy to see Chip find success with her at Yeti. I'm not sure how many people were there. I think 13 to 14 people. We had 4 different ones happening at the same time on Saturday, and this was Chip's tournament to take down in a stacked Final Four. He said it was him, it was Ryan, Jimmy, both from Rule, and Ace, all 3 of those guys on the Rules of Villainy squad here. So just absolutely great and deserved win for Chip. Congratulations, my man. We will see you here again soon. All right, moving on to our third deck from the Wizards Wagon in St. Louis proper as well. We have Tom with an Amber Steel aggro deck. If this deck looks familiar to you, not because of the Amber Steel aggro, but also if you watched last week, this is the exact same deck that beat me in the Fortuna set championship finals last week. And it's oppressive. It sucks. This deck is just so fast that there was a single turn. I should have mentioned it last week if I didn't. In the third game where he just dropped Daisy Daisy Piglet in one turn, or maybe it was Piglet Piglet Daisy. Doesn't matter. It was definitely Piglet Piglet Daisy because he was going to quest for 8, and I could not do anything about it. That is almost half of the lore that he needs to win the game, and he does it in just a way where he's questing, he's putting on resist with his penny on the Smee, who won't take the damage with being exerted at the end of the turn. He's got Calhoun in this one to get a little bit of lore from challenging and controlling the board a little bit. Of course, the Cindy package with Storm and Strength that we talked about with Lily's deck. The most inspired thing in this deck that I think is the Pancake Goofy, the groundbreaking chef. That is a card of mine, one of my favorite cards of this set. I just think it's a lot of fun. It fits a lot into a lot of decks that I play, the Amber decks that I play. And of course, this one is, like Lily, is running the Rapunzel to get a little bit of draw off Lawrence if need be, or any card that has damage on it, because card draw is king. There are times where this deck runs out of gas, you don't have any cards in hand, and you are looking for something to get the engines going again. And Rapunzel can usually do that if you have a big body like Pete, or even better with Lawrence on board. So then you got the Docs, of course, that can come out for free with a lady. It's unfair that Doc comes out and you can just discard your hand, or if you don't have a hand, just do nothing and draw 2 cards. So congratulations to Tom, 2 weeks in a row and getting the map that you wanted the most. Jafar is his favorite villain. Well deserved. And yeah, we will see you next time. All right, moving on to our third and final, I promise, Amber Steel aggro deck of the week, the final week here. It is Tom C. at Fantasy Books and Games in Belleville. This is kind of a combination of both Lily's and Tom's from Wizard Wagon's deck. If you look at it's basically identical to Tom's that we just had, but he's also running the Vinny that Lily had in her deck. The Vinny is very good. I misspoke earlier, and I've already edited to show that I meant the opponent's turn. When this Vinny is on board on the opponent's turn, when any of your characters are banished, you gain 1 lore. But going down the line here, just like I did with Tom's, everything that you know and expect in this deck: Cindy, Daisy, Hamster, Shift Line, the Penny for Resist, the Smee, all of that stuff. We've already talked about it twice in this video. And of course, the Pancake Goofy, who I absolutely love. Anything on your board that has damage on it can be ready back up at the end of the turn because of this Goofy, and removing 1 damage. So absolutely a fun card to play. I can't wait to experiment with it more in the future as we approach the Fabled era and see how the meta develops there. Congratulations to Tom. Big shout out to you. He told me a while back at the Impact Gaming Center 1K that he really likes these videos. And when I found out that he won this tournament, regardless of it being the Amber Steel aggro that is just the bane of my existence right now, I appreciate you. I'm really happy to feature you on here, and that you got the job done. And just thank you so much for watching. So shout out to you. Congratulations to you. And I'm sure this won't be the last time we talk about one of your decks. So congrats. All right, moving on to our fifth and final deck of the Reign of Jafar set championship era here in the greater St. Louis, Missouri. And I mean greater because 2 hours from St. Louis in Farmington, Missouri, Rules of Villainy own Brit got it done with an Amethyst Emerald deck that is not birds, believe it or not. If you've been watching this video series for a while, you know that Brit is the queen of the birds here in St. Louis, and she only got it done with one bird this time. It is the Diablo Obedient Raven 1-drop that whenever banished draws you a card. If you look at this deck here, it is very, very similar to the deck that Chip ran over at Yeti a few decks back here. The major differences are the Merryweather on one that gives strength on play, the Gazelle that is evasive on turn, or gives another character evasive on turn, I apologize. Ursula Deceiver, who was just confirmed to be reprinted, so she's not going anywhere, going to continue to snipe songs away from your altar, basically, having 2 cost there. She comes out on 2 and just takes away a song from your arsenal. And then the big one, the big change here is the Lyle Tiberius Rourke. Brett has been a fan of this card for a while. I've run into it quite a bit several sets ago, excuse me, where he comes out, gives somebody reckless, and invites you to challenge into something that's exerted on Brit's board. Because every time you do, every time a character, one of your characters, is banished with Lyle on board, the opponent loses 1 lore. Absolutely insane card. No confirmation whether or not it's coming back or not, but she made good use of him here in Farmington, getting the job done with this deck. So congratulations to Brit. No surprise here. One asterisk that I need to mention, though, is that the final game did not get played. Unfortunately, it would have been a matchup into a Ruby Sapphire deck with another St. Louis community member here, a great player, Justin Ward, who we are going to talk about his deck here in second place as a consolation here because Britt already had a championship. I don't remember if her or Ron Reckless here from Rules of Villainy won that match. Apologies, guys. But because they already had one, they compromised. Justin did not have one. So Justin got the map, Britt got the win, and we're going to talk about both decks. So congratulations to you, Brit. No surprise here for getting as far as you did. Great player, and congrats once again. And that second place deck, of course, belongs to Justin, as I mentioned previously. It is a Ruby Sapphire items deck that we all know what it does. It's been prevalent for a while, piloted very, very well by Justin to get to the top 2. He went through the Rules of Villainy gauntlet on the day between Andy, Kirsten, Vince, and would have been Brittany had they played the game. Everybody knows what this deck does. He's got 19 items in the deck, if I counted right. 4 of them can be exerted to bring out a Scrooge for free. He's ramping with Tipo in the Sail and the Fishbone Quill and the Great Stone Dragon and getting his draws from the Maurice's Workshop. He's got item recursion with both Tamatoas, primarily the 6-drop Tamatoa, and that Tamatoa can also play a dime for free if he has it in hand when he quests. He's got the shift control with the Sisus and a little bit of draw power from the Grammatala. Vision of the future to look forward, look through the deck for things that he needs in the upcoming plays, more control with Brawl, and be prepared for wide boards. So the goal of the deck, of course, he's got 1 dime. He's looking for it through all the tools that he has so that he can get it out and tap the big crab, the 8-cost Tamatoa, so shiny with all those items on the board, beefing it up to an easy 2-turn win. By that time, maybe most of the time, just a 1-turn win there. So congratulations to Justin on getting it that far. We know you're a great player. I wanted to feature your deck, a little bit of variety for the rest of the video as well, because it's weird having a meta report video and not have Ruby Sapphire in it, and the fact that the match didn't get played, and who knows how it would have gone. So congratulations to you for making that far, and safe travels home. I'm sure by the time this comes out Monday morning, you'll be home. And I'm just rambling now. It is late on a Sunday night. So congratulations to you on this finish. That's going to do it. That's probably going to be the last local meta / sets report for the Reign of Jafar era. I want to thank everybody who submitted their decks week after week to allow me to celebrate you on this channel, the community, the stores that host this game for us week after week. And couldn't be happier to do this. It's such a blessing to get this kind of content out to you guys, and I have so much fun doing it. So thank you. Congratulations to all of you with your set championship wins the last several weeks. I'm very, very happy for you, and more than happy to celebrate those wins with you and maybe inspire others with the decks that you submitted. So I'm going to take the next couple weeks, just kind of chill out a little bit as we approach Fabled. I'm really, really excited about that, to see how the meta develops. I touched on that a little bit earlier in the video. We actually just had another reveal reveal here at the Rules of Villainy on episode 57. If you want to check that out, you can also check out our socials if you just want to see a picture of it. But I encourage you to check out the show, see what it's all about if you haven't before. Yeah, if you like this kind of content, please hit the like, subscribe, the bell for notifications so you can get any kind of content that we produce here at Rules of Villainy, whether it be this when the next set pops up, the new local meta report. We'll see how that's going to be between the two formats. We're going to do core constructed, infinity. We'll see. I still want to do these kind of videos, but I want to see how everything develops here. We got the deck test Tuesdays when Andy and Kirsten are cooking up ideas for new decks. They even take user submitted decks and see how things work out and what they could do to improve it and how they like it. It's a good way to get engagement and test things out. So deck test Tuesdays is another thing. The podcast proper comes out every weekend, most of the time on Fridays, sometimes earlier or later, depending on, things like Gen Con. 3 of the villains just went to Gen Con recently. So check out the latest episode if you want to hear what all of that was about. If you want to see some live content, August 23rd, we will be live streaming again from One for All Games in Peoria, Illinois. A 1K is being hosted there. Very excited to go back out there and see Jordan and everybody in his store. Great store over there. Can't wait to live stream that for you. So put that on your calendars. It should be a lot of fun if you want to see some live content before the new set drops a week later. That's going to be a lot of fun. So definitely check that out. There'll be a link in the description. And yeah, check us out on our socials. Check us out on our Discord. All of that in the description below. And until I see you again, happy questing.